Hi, I'm Jeff Love. This is really a lot of fun. I'll start on the, because Dan brought it up. Mike and I knew each other a long time. We danced a long time about doing something together, and finally when DC asked us to want to do Supergirl, I don't know whether or not you guys know very much about Mike, but one of the things was that he didn't read a lot of comics. And so when we started talking about Supergirl, it wasn't just that he thought that she was a watered-down version of Superman. He just didn't know who she was. And so we started out, doing this whole thing. And of course, the great part about Frank was Frank was sitting there like going, "Dude, Crisis on Infinite Earth 7, man!" And Frank would be like, and Mike would be sitting there going, "Crisis what? I don't understand." So again, as only Frank can, he just threw him the deep end. He just said, "Here's Crisis. It's really interesting and easy to understand if you've never read a comic book before." And so, as only Mike can, he just inhaled it. And so the first meeting we had about this, he was like, "I do not understand anything that you're saying to me." And I was like, "Well, it's like Witchblade, but it isn't." But at the second meeting, which literally was like 3 days later, he comes in and he's, I'm going, "So look, I'm kind of seeing that it's like the girl from Krypton again, and now we're in the dark." And so he goes, "Well, we're going to use Harbinger, right?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "We're going to use Harbinger." It's like, you can't use Harbinger. You can't do Crisis if you're not doing Harbinger. And I turned to Frank and I'm like, "Who the hell is Harbinger?" And it was just the way that he did things. He just took them and he brought them into his heart and he brought them into his hands, and he drew beautifully and he expressed himself in very, very few ways that any of us can. We were incredibly lucky to know him, and through him, my friendship with all the guys at Aspen, in particular Frank and Peter, and of course Grace and Kelly and his brother and Jake. And then there's just something I gotta just tell all of you. I think all of you know that just 3 years ago I lost my son, oddly enough, to the same cancer that Mike had. And as sort of odd, and I was really prepared for a world that Sam might have to live in without Mike, even though Mike never ever said otherwise. I just never was prepared for a world to live in where Mike was here and Sam wasn't. And the fact that now I live in a world where both of them are gone is incredibly unfair, and hopefully somewhere the two of them are giggling, because that's what they did. They never, ever, ever, and I think it's an important thing for all of us that are still here, they never gave up. They never thought about it as anything other than, we just go on to the next thing. And Mike was such an inspiration to Sam, just in terms of the two of them. He was a mentor, he was a friend, and he was really a beacon of hope all the way across the board. And I was incredibly lucky to be part of his life. He was also just an incredibly good friend to my daughter Audrey and to my family. And as I have told Kelly and I have told Grace, we are both family together. And I think a lot of you know that we're going to be having a thing for him at my place. And I keep telling Kelly that, anything you want to do, there's no wrong answer. And for all of you, that is the lesson. I sort of feel like I've been through this before, and so somehow I have information I never would have imagined. Such a luckhead. Whatever you're feeling, there is no right way or wrong way. If you want to laugh, laugh. If you want to be bummed. If you want to cry, cry. You just deal. There's no way that he wanted you to be. There's no way that anybody wants you to be. And if what happens to you is you're walking around and you're smiling and laughing, and then 6 months from now suddenly a song comes on, or a beer commercial, or suddenly a wave down at the beach, and you suddenly get all upset. That's all of it, what it is. He is part of our lives, and he will continue to do so. And the best thing you can do is tell Mike stories. If you knew him, tell it. If you read a comic by him, tell it. This is how you keep people alive in your hearts. You do not get over this. It's a job you get over that you've lost. A divorce you get over that you've lost. A love affair you get over that you've lost. And when you lose a friend, you will not ever get over it. What you do is you incorporate it into your life. And I'm sorry to turn this into kind of a preacher thing. I just want to help all of you here and to tell you that if you loved Mike, it's okay. It really is. Take care.
I'm going to tell a story. Since Jeff so eloquently put, that's what I want to do, is I want to tell my story. About 3 years ago, I'm from Detroit, and about 3 years ago, Mike's a big Lakers fan, and the Pistons actually did very well, and they were in the playoffs with the Lakers, and Mike would not let me ever say, hey, they're going to win. No, they're not going to win. The Lakers are going to win. And so I said, I'm going to make you a bet. I said, I bet you $100. I had a goatee at the time, which is a bad idea because now there's pictures of me with a goatee everywhere. But I said, I'll bet you $100, and you have to grow a goatee, because I just shaved mine. I said, you have to grow a goatee if the Pistons win. And Mike laughed at me really hard, and he said, yes. And the final game, it was the third quarter, and the Pistons were up like 25 points, and Mike called me to secede. And he grew a goatee. There you go. So I take responsibility for that. But more importantly, I thought it was really, Mike was always a good sport. He was a guy of his word. He was one of my very best friends. I really miss him a lot. But about 2 months later, after he grew it, he said, I like it. And he kept it. And that just, it's just nice to see that. But I really loved him, and I'm really proud to know all of you, and thanks.